Hey guys, it's Caroline, and I'm on here today to talk to you about networking and specifically job postings and job posting boards and why they are a complete lie. And yes, that's strong language because I feel really passionate about it. In fact, I was going to write a blog post about this, and I just decided I have so much to say on this topic, and I see how the kind of applicant tracking process and the process of hunting for jobs on job posting boards and applying for them and everything that comes after it is just so painful for people. It pains me to watch them go through it. And so I actually want to do a whole series on networking, building relationships, why that is absolutely the better way to go, not just in terms of the numbers and the likelihood that you're going to spend less time and have better results from that networking approach, but also because it's going to feel better in the end. So if you don't believe me and you're not bought in, great. Stay tuned. I'm probably going to end up doing a series of videos, and I'll start with the topics and questions I know of and I hear a lot from potential clients that are struggling or even my current clients that are in the process right now. But I really want this to be interactive. So leave your comments below if you're seeing this on social media, reply to email if you're seeing this from my email list, pop a comment in on YouTube, wherever you're seeing this, challenge me on this, right? Because it is probably one of the biggest challenges that I see people struggling with in the job search. Once it is that they know what they're going for and the sort of jobs that they want to target, this is a big one for people. And there's a whole lot of reasons which we'll get into. Today, I really want to focus on really reinforcing the idea that, like I said, job posting boards are a lie. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because, and you can Google this if you don't believe me, I Googled it just before I got on the call. I typed in 70% of jobs aren't posted on job posting boards, and I got literally thousands, maybe more, of articles from really reputable sources, if you don't believe me. And the numbers actually ranged, and some actually said up to 80% of job postings aren't actually posted on job posting boards. So if you think about it from this perspective, right? When you go out there, if you're looking at job postings, forget about like all of the hassle and games that you have to play to even make it through this rigged process. You're only looking at the smallest subset of jobs that are available. It just doesn't make mathematical sense for those of you that are driven by logic out there, which I hear you, I'm the same way. So think about it that way. Like, you are totally reducing the pool of potential opportunities by leading your job search this way, right? Because the jobs just aren't there. Here's something else. Of the jobs that are posted, and I don't have a number for this, maybe someone can chime in if they have a better number, but I've seen this happen in practice. Of the jobs that are posted, many of them are already filled, or they already have a prime candidate in mind, and they're just kind of going through the motions to see if they can find someone better, or even just to tick a box legally, to be honest. I have literally seen this happen. You've probably seen this happen, right? Going through a process all the way to the end, and then them hearing that they're gonna fill it internally. It really does happen. So again, when you rely on these posting boards, right, the cards are really stacked against you, which does not mean, right, certainly people find jobs through job postings, right? So I know I'm going to get some comments that say, hey, my sister, brother, friend, whatever, found a job. But the majority are not found this way, right? So just think of it as if you really want to improve your odds, right? You want to be going through networking and using your relationships. The second big reason, right, that you want to do this is if you are entered immediately into the application process and interview process, right? You don't really have the time to do your due diligence on whether you really want to work at this place. And this is what I hear from job seekers and career people over and over again, is they get into something and realize too late that it's not the right match, right? Because there's just only so much time. Even if you do something insane, like some companies, it's like 7 rounds. I hear all sorts of insane things of interviews. Just a lot of times the way those are structured, and just in terms of pure time, like how can you really do your due diligence in 1 or 2 meetings to assess, is this the place that I want to spend the majority of my time for the next 1, 2, or more years, right? And they find out, unfortunately, too late, oops, I've made a terrible mistake. So again, for those of you that are thinking logically about this, I want you to think about this as improving your odds, not just to get the thing, but that the thing that you get is actually in line with what you want. And so networking is going to be a much better way because, and again, I'm just going to speak to one example, but you can have those conversations, right? You can really get the feel outside of the interview process where you're like tap dancing on the stage and trying to like put your best foot forward. You can have these honest, open conversations and really get to know the people you're talking to, really get a sense of the culture. Again, and this will probably be a full topic for another video, but oftentimes a role ends up being modified or created for a person based on these conversations. So it's not just about running the numbers to get into a job, it's that the quality of the job and the likelihood that that job is going to be a much better fit is increased, to the nth degree when you're actually having these conversations. Sorry, just did a quick time check there. Because I wanted to talk about an objection that actually came up yesterday with a client, which I thought was actually a really good fear that comes up for people that I wanted to share. And so this client says, all right, here's what goes on with me when I go after that job posting, right? I see this really great opportunity, and what happens is I feel like if I don't jump on this now, it's going to go away forever, right? I totally get that urge. And it's this idea of kind of scarcity and immediacy. And if I don't act now, that thing's going to go away. And, it's kind of like chasing after a boyfriend or a significant other, right? Kind of this idea that there's only one good fit for you in the world, and that you have to make it happen without any sort of due diligence because you might be alone forever otherwise. And it's just not true. And so what I want you to start to shift your thinking, if this comes up for you, right? Certainly apply for the job. Like, I'm not telling you not to apply for jobs that you see that light you up. But what I see too often is people applying for jobs they're actually not that keen on anyway. And it just kind of, again, they get kind of sucked into the game. Or people apply for these jobs out of the scarcity mode. So certainly apply for the job if there's something you see that's amazing. But I want you to shift your thinking in terms of once you're in that pipeline, right? The very first decisions to screen you out, right? And it is a screening out process rather than screening in, unfortunately. The very first decisions are going to be made on your resume, a piece of paper. And I know there's a ton of people out there that will help you game the system and get your resume, whatever, that, is more likely to go through the computer. But personally, for me and for my clients, I don't want any decisions to be made about my piece of paper or my LinkedIn profile, right? I want decisions to be made on who I am and how I show up, right? And so when you're applying through the job posting process, that's exactly what happens, or it's the opposite of what happens, right? You're kind of relying on your resume to speak for the person you are, which is so not accurate, right? When you think about how you show up in person and all the wonderful things that you have to offer can't possibly be condensed into 1 or 2 pages, right? It just doesn't show the full breadth and depth of your personality and your gifts. So I want you to think about if you shift that to putting yourself in front of people and having them get to know you and what you have to offer, and learning from your enthusiasm and seeing your passion about these topics, and how that exponentially, that I don't have a number for this, unfortunately, but let's say it's times 10, right? So you have 1 job posting versus if you get in front of 1 person, it's much more likely that there's going to be a relationship that develops or it will lead to something. And so it just actually opens the door to many more opportunities than just this one that you have through this job opening. So again, it's a mindset shift. Push back on me and ask me questions if this isn't clear to you, but it's shifting from that scarcity, there's only this one thing and I gotta go now, to, well, actually, if I talk to people, it lengthens the timeline, it deepens the engagement, it increases my chances that I'm actually going to find something that's a better fit, and there's going to be more better opportunities when I go this way. So that's what I wanted to say about the mindset shift. I really want to encourage you to really think about networking, and we'll talk about ways that you can do it that fit your personality. But it is just such a better way to get a job. And so yeah, I'll leave you with that. Leave your comments below, reply to me, let me know what you're thinking, and I look forward to the next video.